In every age, humanity has whispered about secrets too powerful to be spoken aloud. These are not the everyday mysteries of missing socks, or why bread always lands butter side down, but the grand cosmic kind, the kind that promises immortality, transformation, and wisdom beyond comprehension. They are called forbidden knowledge, and they linger like shadows at the edge of history, half remembered, half imagined, and wholly irresistible. Forbidden knowledge is the kind of wisdom that makes rulers nervous, priests protective, and philosophers endlessly curious. It is the knowledge that claims to unlock the soul, bend the stars, and perhaps even cheat death itself. It is the knowledge that hides in temples, glows faintly in emerald stone, and whispers through the ages in riddles that sound profound, even when you don't quite understand them. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth are said to be the ultimate vessel of this forbidden wisdom. They shimmer in legend, glowing green like fire trapped in stone, carrying words that promise to reveal the secrets of the universe. To some, they are myth. To others, they are the foundation of alchemy, hermetic philosophy, and the dream of immortality. Whether real or imagined, they have become the bedtime story of history, a tale so strange, so alluring, and so boringly fascinating that it can lull even the most curious mind into sleep. Imagine a dusty temple, its walls carved with hieroglyphs, its corridors echoing with silence. Somewhere in its depths lies a tablet, glowing faintly, waiting for someone brave enough or foolish enough to read it. The words are not loud, not clear, but slow, cryptic, and strangely soothing. They speak of worlds above and worlds below, of souls that wander, of truths that mortals were never meant to hold. This is the beginning of the journey into forbidden knowledge. It is not a tale of battles or kings, but of whispers, riddles, and secrets that linger in shadows. It is the kind of story that makes you feel wise for listening, even as your eyelids grow heavy. The Emerald Tablets are not just objects of legend. They are invitations to drift into mystery, to wander slowly through the corridors of forgotten wisdom, and to let the rhythm of history carry you gently toward sleep. And if you've made it this far without dozing off, congratulations. You are already braver than most ancient scribes, who probably nodded off halfway through. Like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments where you're watching from, preferably not from Atlantis, because internet reception there is notoriously bad. The Emerald Tablets are not simply objects of stone. They are legends, wrapped in layers of mystery, myth, and imagination. Their story begins in whispers, carried through temples, scrolls, and secret societies, each retelling adding new shades of wonder. The tablets are said to be carved from a green, glowing material, sometimes described as emerald, sometimes as a mysterious firestone that could not be broken. They were indestructible, eternal, immune to the decay of time. Imagine a slab of stone that shines faintly in the dark, as if it has swallowed starlight and refuses to let it go. That is how the legend paints them. According to tradition, the tablets were inscribed by Thoth himself, the god of wisdom, who wished to preserve the secrets of the universe. They carried words of alchemy, immortality, and cosmic truth. They spoke of the soul's journey, of the hidden laws of nature, of the mysteries of creation. To read them was to step into forbidden knowledge, to glimpse truths that mortals were never meant to hold. The legend insists that the tablets were hidden in secret chambers, guarded by priests and initiates. Some say they were buried beneath pyramids. Others claim they were locked in the halls of Amenti, a mystical realm beneath the earth. Wherever they were kept, they were never meant for ordinary eyes. Only the chosen, the initiated, the seekers of wisdom could approach them. Over centuries, the tablets became the foundation of Hermetic philosophy, inspiring alchemists, mystics, and dreamers. They were said to contain the principle as above, so below, a phrase that echoed through history, reminding mortals that the heavens and the earth are bound together. They promised transformation, not only of metals into gold, but of the soul into eternity. The legend grew with each retelling. Some claimed the tablets were linked to Atlantis, carried from a lost land into Egypt. Others believed they were passed down through secret societies, guarded by philosophers who whispered their truths in candlelit rooms. The tablets became not only objects of myth, but symbols of hidden wisdom, eternal and untouchable. Whether they existed or not, the Emerald Tablets have endured in imagination. They are the bedtime story of history, a tale so strange, so alluring, and so soothing that it lingers like a lullaby. Their legend is not loud, not glorious, but quiet, shadowed, and strangely comforting, perfect for drifting deeper into the sleepy rhythm of forgotten knowledge. In the grand theater of Egyptian myth, there is one figure who never needed a sword, a crown, or a thunderbolt to command respect. His weapon was a reed pen, his crown was a scroll, and his thunder was the quiet scratching of ink on papyrus. This was Thoth, the god of wisdom, the divine accountant of eternity, and the cosmic librarian who made sure the universe didn't lose track of itself. Thoth was often shown with the head of an ibis, a bird that looks like it has been contemplating algebra since the dawn of time. Sometimes he appeared as a baboon, which may sound less dignified, but baboons were considered wise observers of the moon's cycles. Either way, Thoth was not about glamour, he was about precision. He was the one who measured the stars, counted the days, and balanced the scales of truth so that chaos didn't sneak in through the back door of creation. The Egyptians credited him with inventing writing. Without Thoth, there would have been no hieroglyphs, no tax records, no love poems carved into stone, and no endless lists of offerings to the gods. He was the divine scribe, the one who wrote down the verdicts in the afterlife, carefully noting whether a soul's heart was lighter than the feather of man. Imagine eternity without paperwork. Impossible. Thoth made sure that cosmic bureaucracy ran smoothly. He was also the timekeeper. Farmers looked to his wisdom to know when the Nile would rise. Priests consulted his calculations to schedule rituals, and kings relied on his records to ensure their reigns were remembered. Thoth was the quiet architect of order, the one who kept the calendar ticking and the stars aligned. But beneath his orderly exterior, Thoth carried secrets. He was said to know the hidden names of the gods, the words that unlocked divine power. He was the keeper of spells, the guardian of mysteries, the one who whispered truths too dangerous for ordinary mortals. If forbidden knowledge had a custodian, it was him. Over time, Thoth's influence stretched beyond Egypt. The Greeks saw him as Hermes Trismegistus, thrice great, a figure so wise that one greatness simply wasn't enough. Through this transformation, Thoth became the bridge between civilizations, the thread that tied Egyptian temples to Greek philosophy, alchemy, and the dream of immortality. Thoth was not a warrior, not a ruler, not a conqueror. He was something subtler, something more enduring. The god who wrote, measured, and remembered. He was the quiet heartbeat of wisdom, the eternal scribe who ensured that knowledge would never vanish, even when empires crumbled into dust. The Emerald Tablets are often described not simply as slabs of emerald, but as something stranger, something more luminous, the green firestones. Their legend insists they were not ordinary minerals, but living symbols, glowing with a light that seemed to come from within, as if the stones themselves had swallowed fire and decided never to let it go. Imagine walking into a temple chamber, the air heavy with incense, the walls carved with hieroglyphs. In the center lies a stone that glimmers faintly, not with the sparkle of a jewel, but with the steady glow of embers. It is green, deep, and rich, yet alive with a fire that does not burn. This is how the green firestones are remembered, eternal, indestructible, and quietly unsettling. The stones were said to hold the inscriptions of Thoth, carved with words that revealed the hidden laws of the universe. They were not fragile scrolls or fading papyrus, but tablets that could withstand time itself. Their glow was a reminder that knowledge was alive, that wisdom was not static, but burning, pulsing, waiting to be understood. Some traditions claim the stones were forged in Atlantis, carried across oceans into Egypt, hidden in temples, and guarded by priests. Others insist they were gifts from the gods, placed in the hands of Thoth to preserve truths too dangerous for mortals. Whatever their origin, the green firestones became symbols of forbidden knowledge, objects that promised transformation but demanded reverence. Alchemists later imagined the stones as the source of their art, the inspiration for the philosopher's stone. If metals could be turned to gold, if souls could be turned to eternity, then surely the green firestones were the blueprint. Their glow was not only mystical, but practical, a reminder that transformation was possible, even if most experiments ended in smoke and confusion. The stones were said to be indestructible. Fire could not consume them, water could not erode them, time could not weaken them. They were eternal, carrying the words of Thoth across centuries. Their survival became part of their mystery. How could something so fragile as knowledge be carved into something so unbreakable? And so the green firestones linger in legend, glowing softly in the imagination. They are not loud, not glorious, but steady, shadowed, and strangely soothing. Their fire is not the blaze of battle, but the quiet ember of wisdom, perfect for drifting deeper into the sleepy rhythm of forgotten history. As the centuries passed, the figure of Thoth did not remain confined to the temples of Egypt. His wisdom traveled, transformed, and reappeared in another guise. Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great sage of the Greek and later Roman world. This link between Thoth and Hermes is one of the most fascinating bridges in the history of forbidden knowledge, a thread that ties together civilizations separated by language, geography, and time. The Greeks admired Egypt deeply, seeing it as a land of ancient wisdom and mystery. When they encountered Thoth, the god of writing, measurement, and cosmic order, they recognized in him a kindred spirit to their own Hermes, the messenger of the gods, the patron of communication, and the guide of souls. Over time, the two figures merged, becoming Hermes Trismegistus, a being so wise that one greatness was not enough, nor two, but three. Hermes Trismegistus was said to be the author of countless texts, known collectively as the Hermetica. These writings explored alchemy, astrology, philosophy, and the mysteries of the soul. They carried echoes of Thoth's wisdom, reframed in Greek language and thought. The Emerald Tablets were often linked to this tradition, seen as part of the Hermetic corpus, glowing green symbols of eternal truth. The phrase, "as above, so below," attributed to the Emerald Tablets, became central to Hermetic philosophy. It suggested that the patterns of the heavens were reflected on earth, that the grand and the small were bound together. This idea fascinated philosophers, alchemists, and mystics for centuries, inspiring experiments, rituals, and endless debates. Hermes Trismegistus was not merely a mythic figure. He became a symbol of universal wisdom. To Renaissance scholars, he was the ancient sage whose writings carried truths older than Plato, older than Moses, older than any known tradition. They believed his words were fragments of a primordial revelation, a wisdom passed down from the dawn of time. The link between Thoth and Hermes shows how knowledge travels, how myths transform, how wisdom adapts to new cultures. Thoth, the ibis-headed scribe of Egypt, became Hermes, the messenger of Greece, and together they became Trismegistus, the thrice great teacher of eternity. It is a reminder that forbidden knowledge is never static. It shifts, evolves, and reappears in new forms, carrying its mystery across ages. And so, the Emerald Tablets linger not only in Egyptian legend, but in Hermetic philosophy, glowing softly in the imagination of scholars, mystics, and dreamers. They are not loud, not glorious, but quiet, shadowed, and strangely soothing, perfect for drifting deeper into the sleepy rhythm of forgotten history. Beneath the sands of Egypt, beyond the reach of ordinary mortals, legends speak of a place known as the Halls of Amenti. It was not a temple built of stone, nor a tomb carved for kings, but a realm of mystery, a hidden sanctuary where Thoth himself was said to dwell, guarding secrets too vast for the living world. The halls of Amenti were described as vast chambers beneath the earth, glowing with a light that did not come from torches or the sun. Their walls shimmered with strange energies, their corridors stretched endlessly, and their silence carried the weight of eternity. To enter was to step outside of time, to wander into a place where the soul could be renewed, transformed, and prepared for immortality. Thoth was said to retreat into these halls, resting in a chamber of stone that glowed with green fire. There, he communed with the gods, studied the cycles of the cosmos, and inscribed his wisdom onto the Emerald Tablets. The halls of Amenti were not only his sanctuary, but his workshop, the place where forbidden knowledge was preserved. Initiates who were deemed worthy could enter, guided by priests and rituals. Within the halls, they were said to undergo trials of the soul, lest shedding the weight of mortality and glimpsing truths beyond human comprehension. Some claimed that those who passed through the halls of Amenti could live for centuries, their bodies renewed by the energies of the chambers. Others believed the halls were portals to other realms, gateways to the stars, bridges between worlds. The legend insists that the halls of Amenti were hidden beneath pyramids, guarded by spells and traps, accessible only to those chosen by Thoth. They were not meant for ordinary eyes, nor for casual curiosity. They were the heart of forbidden knowledge, the place where eternity whispered in silence. Whether real or imagined, the halls of Amenti endure in myth as the ultimate sanctuary of wisdom. They are not loud, not glorious, but shadowed, eternal, and strangely soothing. To imagine them is to drift deeper into mystery, to wander slowly through corridors of forgotten truth, and to let the rhythm of legend carry you gently toward sleep. Among the whispers carved into the Emerald Tablets, none are more alluring than the teachings of immortality. These were not promises of endless youth in the way of fairy tales, nor simple tricks to cheat death. They were lessons, slow and cryptic, about how the soul could transcend the limits of the body, how wisdom itself could become eternal. The tablets spoke of transformation, the kind that begins within. Just as alchemists dreamed of turning lead into gold, the teachings suggested that mortals could refine their own essence, purifying the soul until it shone like the sun. Immortality was not a potion or a spell, but a process of becoming, a journey of discipline, balance, and understanding. Thoth was said to guide initiates through these teachings, showing them how to shed the weight of mortality. In the halls of Amenti, seekers underwent trials of the spirit, learning to release fear, desire, and ignorance. Each step was a slow unraveling of the mortal self, each lesson a reminder that eternity was not given but earned. The teachings described the soul as a flame, eternal and indestructible. The body was its vessel, fragile and temporary, but the flame itself could endure. To achieve immortality was to recognize this truth, to nurture the flame, to let it grow beyond the boundaries of flesh. Some legends claimed that those who mastered these teachings could live for centuries, their bodies renewed by the energies of hidden chambers. Others believed immortality was not physical but spiritual, a state where the soul could wander freely through realms beyond death. Whatever the form, the promise was the same. Wisdom could outlast time, and the seeker could step into eternity. The teachings of immortality were not loud, not glorious, but quiet, shadowed, and strangely soothing. They were riddles meant to lull the mind, chants meant to calm the spirit, truths meant to carry the listener deeper into the rhythm of forgotten history. And so the Emerald Tablets became not only legends of alchemy, but lullabies of eternity, whispering softly that the soul is endless, that wisdom is eternal, and that immortality is not a secret to be stolen, but a truth to be slowly understood. In the vast tapestry of Egyptian mythology, every god had a role that shimmered with grandeur. Ra blazed across the heavens as the sun itself. Isis spread her wings of magic and compassion. Osiris ruled the underworld with solemn dignity, and Anubis guarded the dead with jackal-headed vigilance. Yet, among these mighty figures stood Thoth, quieter, subtler, but no less essential. He was the scribe of eternity, the mediator of divine disputes, and the mathematician who kept the cosmos in balance. Thoth was the one who ensured the sun rose and set on time, counting the hours of Ra's journey across the sky. Without him, the day might have stretched endlessly, the night might have vanished, and the rhythm of life would have faltered. He was the keeper of order, the cosmic timekeeper, who made sure the universe did not lose track of itself. Beside Ma'at, goddess of truth, Thoth recorded the judgments of souls in the afterlife. In the Hall of Two Truths, where hearts were weighed against the feather of justice, Thoth stood ready with his scroll. He wrote every verdict with precision, ensuring that eternity was fair, balanced, and properly documented. With Anubis, Thoth formed a quiet partnership. Anubis prepared the body for burial, while Thoth prepared the records of the soul's journey. Together, they turned the afterlife into something less chaotic, more orderly, a passage guided by ritual and wisdom. Thoth's knowledge also touched Isis and Osiris. When Osiris was torn apart, it was Thoth's spells and incantations that helped Isis restore him. Here, wisdom was not abstract, but practical, a force that could literally stitch a god back together. Even when disputes flared among the gods, Thoth was the calm voice of reason. He was the diplomat of the divine, the one who reminded immortals that eternity was long and arguments were best settled with balance rather than fury. In every scene of Egyptian myth, Thoth appears not as the loudest figure, but as the one who ensures the story holds together. He was the scribe, the mathematician, the mediator, the quiet architect of order. His presence was subtle, yet essential, the steady hand that kept the pantheon from unraveling. And so, Thoth's place among the gods was not loud, not glorious, but steady, shadowed, and strangely soothing, perfect for drifting deeper into the sleepy rhythm of forgotten history. Among the most whispered passages of the Emerald Tablets lies the teaching of the soul, not the body, not the mind, but the eternal flame that flickers quietly within every living being. The ancients believed the soul was the true essence, the part that could not be broken, burned, or buried. It was the secret that Thoth guarded most carefully, the forbidden knowledge that promised not just life, but continuity beyond death. The tablets describe the soul as a spark of divine fire, a fragment of the eternal source. The body was its vessel, fragile and temporary, but the soul itself was indestructible. To understand this was to step closer to immortality, for the soul was not bound by the same limits as flesh. It could wander, ascend, and return, carrying wisdom across lifetimes. Thoth taught that the soul was layered, like the chambers of a temple. The outer layers carried memory, desire, and fear, the things that tied mortals to the earth. The inner chamber was pure, untouched, eternal. To reach it required discipline, balance, and the shedding of illusions. The journey was not loud or dramatic, but slow, patient, and deeply personal. The secret of the soul was not simply survival after death, but transformation. The soul could grow, refine itself, and ascend to higher realms. It could move through the halls of Amenti, pass through trials, and emerge renewed. Each passage was a step toward eternity. Each trial a reminder that the soul was more than a shadow of the body. It was the body's master, not its servant. Legends claimed that those who understood the secret of the soul could communicate with the stars, hear the voices of gods, and travel beyond the boundaries of time. They became seekers of wisdom, guardians of truth, wanderers between worlds. Their bodies aged, but their souls remained luminous, carrying knowledge across centuries. The secret of the soul was not meant for everyone. It was hidden, guarded, whispered only to initiates who proved themselves worthy. To reveal it carelessly would have been dangerous, for the soul's power was immense. Yet the tablets preserved it, glowing softly, reminding mortals that within them burned a flame that no darkness could extinguish. And so, the secret of the soul lingers in legend, not loud, not glorious, but quiet, shadowed, and strangely soothing. It is the bedtime truth of eternity, the gentle reminder that within every heart, few legends have stirred the imagination quite like Atlantis. It is said to have been a land of dazzling brilliance, a kingdom of knowledge and power that rose from the sea only to vanish beneath it. For seekers of forbidden wisdom, Atlantis was not just a place, it was the cradle of mysteries, the birthplace of truths too vast for ordinary mortals. The Emerald Tablets are often linked to this lost world. Some traditions claim that Thoth himself came from Atlantis, carrying its wisdom across the waters into Egypt after the Great Cataclysm. The tablets, glowing with green fire, were said to preserve the teachings of a civilization that had mastered the stars. the soul, and the hidden forces of nature. Atlantis was described as a land of temples and towers, its streets lined with shimmering stone, its people guided by knowledge rather than war. They were said to have harnessed energies unknown to us today, powers drawn from the earth, the sea, and the heavens. Their wisdom was not only practical, but cosmic, a harmony between the mortal and the divine. But legends also speak of pride, of forbidden experiments, of a civilization that reached too far. The fall of Atlantis was sudden, a great flood or earthquake that swallowed the land whole. Its towers crumbled, its temples sank, and its wisdom was scattered like fragments across the world. What survived were whispers, myths, and perhaps the Emerald Tablets themselves, glowing relics of a world that refused to be forgotten. For centuries, seekers have searched for Atlantis. Some imagine it beneath the waves of the Atlantic Ocean, others beneath the sands of Egypt, still others in distant lands, hidden from maps. Wherever it lies, Atlantis endures as a symbol of lost greatness, a reminder that wisdom can be both a gift and a danger. The lost land of Atlantis is not loud, not glorious, but shadowed, eternal, and strangely soothing. It drifts through legend like a lullaby of forgotten power, a bedtime story of a world that rose, fell, and left behind secrets that still glow softly in the imagination. Long before telescopes and charts, the Egyptians looked to the night sky and saw not just stars, but messages. To them, the heavens were a vast scroll, written in light, waiting to be read by those who understood its rhythm. Thoth, the god of wisdom, was said to be the interpreter of this celestial script, the one who measured the movements of the moon, tracked the paths of planets, and revealed the hidden order of the cosmos. The Emerald Tablets whisper of star wisdom, describing the heavens as mirrors of the earth. As above, so below was not only a phrase, but a principle. The stars reflected the patterns of life, and life reflected the patterns of the stars. Farmers planted by the moon, priests performed rituals by the constellations, and kings ruled with the guidance of celestial omens. Thoth was believed to have taught initiates how to read the stars, not as distant lights, but as living symbols. Each constellation carried meaning, each planet held influence, each cycle revealed truths about the soul's journey. To study the heavens was to study oneself, for the cosmos and the spirit were bound together. The Egyptians saw the stars as eternal, unchanging in their slow dance across the sky. They believed the soul, too, was eternal, moving through cycles of birth, death, and rebirth, just as the stars rose and set. The wisdom of the stars was not about predicting the future, but about understanding the eternal rhythm of existence. Legends claim that Thoth inscribed this star wisdom into the Emerald Tablets, preserving the knowledge of cosmic harmony. The tablets spoke of gateways in the heavens, paths that the soul could follow after death, bridges between the mortal and the divine. To read them was to glimpse eternity, to see the soul reflected in the stars. Ancient star wisdom was not loud, not glorious, but quiet, shadowed, and strangely soothing. It was the bedtime rhythm of the cosmos, the gentle reminder that above us burns a map of eternity, waiting patiently to be understood. Beyond the sands and stone monuments that tourists marvel at today, Egyptian legend whispers of temples that were never meant to be seen by ordinary eyes. These were the hidden temples of power, sanctuaries concealed beneath pyramids, buried in desert caverns, or veiled by spells so strong that only initiates could find their way inside. The Emerald Tablets describe these temples as places where cosmic energy was stored, chambers that glowed with a light not of fire, but of eternity. Their walls were said to hum with power, their altars aligned with the stars, their corridors designed to channel forces that mortals could barely comprehend. To step inside was to feel the universe itself pressing gently against the soul. Thoth was believed to be the architect of these hidden sanctuaries. He designed them not as places of worship alone, but as machines of wisdom, structures that balanced earth and sky, body and spirit, mortal and divine. Each temple was a puzzle, its geometry precise, its symbols layered with meaning. To walk through its halls was to walk through a map of the cosmos. Initiates who entered the hidden temples of power underwent trials of silence and vision. They meditated in chambers where sound vanished, stood before walls that shimmered with inscriptions, and learned to see beyond the material into the eternal. The temples were not schools in the ordinary sense, but gateways, places where the soul was tested, refined, and prepared for immortality. Legends claim that within these temples lay devices of forgotten science, relics of Atlantis carried into Egypt. Some spoke of crystal chambers that amplified thought, others of altars that opened paths to the stars. Whether myth or memory, the temples became symbols of forbidden knowledge, reminders that wisdom was not only written but built into stone. The hidden temples of power were not loud, not glorious, but shadowed, eternal, and strangely soothing. They linger in imagination as quiet sanctuaries of mystery, bedtime stories carved in stone, places where the seeker could rest in silence and feel the gentle rhythm of eternity. The Emerald Tablets were not only inscribed with words, they were shaped with patterns. Their very design was said to embody sacred geometry, the hidden mathematics of the universe, the silent language through which creation itself was written. To gaze upon the tablets was not simply to read, but to enter into a dialogue with form, proportion, and harmony. Sacred geometry teaches that shapes are not arbitrary. The circle reflects eternity, the square stability, the triangle balance, and the spiral the endless unfolding of life. The Emerald Tablets were believed to carry these forms within their inscriptions, each symbol carefully aligned, each proportion chosen to echo the rhythm of the cosmos. Thoth, master of measurement, was said to have carved the tablets with precision beyond mortal skill. Their dimensions were not random, but tuned to cosmic ratios, the golden mean, the harmony of pi, the symmetry of the stars. To hold the tablets was to hold a fragment of the universe's blueprint, a design that whispered of hidden laws. Initiates studied the geometry of the tablets as much as their words. They traced circles and lines, measured angles and proportions, learning that wisdom was not only in language but in shape. The tablets became diagrams of eternity, maps of the soul, charts of the unseen forces that bound heaven and earth together. Legends claim that the tablets glowed when aligned with the stars, their geometry resonating with celestial patterns. They were not static objects, but living instruments, vibrating with the harmony of creation. To understand them was to step into balance, to feel the quiet pulse of the universe moving through stone. The sacred geometry of the tablets was not loud, not glorious, but subtle, shadowed, and strangely soothing. It was the bedtime mathematics of eternity, the gentle reminder that wisdom is written not only in words, but in shapes, and that the universe itself is a design waiting patiently to be understood. The Emerald Tablets speak not only of wisdom itself, but of those entrusted to protect it. These figures, often called the guardians of knowledge, were said to stand watch over the hidden truths of eternity, ensuring that forbidden wisdom did not fall into careless hands. They were not warriors in the ordinary sense, but keepers of balance, guardians of silence, and protectors of the soul's journey. The guardians were described as timeless beings, neither fully mortal nor fully divine. Some legends portray them as priests chosen by Thoth, initiates who had passed through the path of initiation and emerged transformed. Others imagine them as luminous figures, cloaked in light, stationed at the thresholds of the halls of Amenti. Their task was simple yet immense: to guard the secrets of immortality, the mysteries of the soul, and the geometry of the cosmos. They were said to test seekers who approached the tablets, not with swords or fire, but with riddles, silence, and visions. A seeker who carried pride or greed would falter, unable to withstand the weight of truth. Only those who approached with humility, balance, and patience could pass. In this way, the guardians ensured that wisdom remained pure, untouched by corruption. The guardians of knowledge were also keepers of memory. They preserved the teachings of Atlantis, the star wisdom of Egypt, and the hidden sciences of the temples. Their vigilance was not only about protection, but about continuity, making sure that the flame of wisdom did not vanish, even as civilizations rose and fell. Legends claim that the guardians still exist, hidden in places beyond ordinary sight. Some say they dwell in secret chambers beneath pyramids, others that they walk unseen among us, guiding seekers quietly toward truth. Whether real or imagined, they endure as symbols of responsibility, reminders that knowledge is not only power, but trust. The guardians of knowledge are not loud, not glorious, but shadowed, eternal, and strangely soothing. They linger in legend as quiet sentinels of wisdom, bedtime figures who watch over the seeker, ensuring that the rhythm of eternity remains unbroken. Among the most unsettling whispers of the Emerald Tablets are the tales of experiments carried out by the ancients' practices so daring, so dangerous, that they were hidden away from ordinary mortals. These were not the gentle teachings of balance or the soothing rhythms of star wisdom. They were attempts to bend the laws of nature, to push the boundaries of life and death, and to harness powers that even the gods treated with caution. The ancients were said to have experimented with the essence of the soul itself. In hidden chambers, initiates sought to separate spirit from body, allowing it to wander freely through realms beyond the earth. Some claimed success, describing journeys into the stars or visions of eternity. Others were lost, their bodies left empty, their souls unable to return. There were also experiments with energy forces drawn from the earth, the sun, and the stars. The ancients built devices of crystal and stone, aligned with sacred geometry, designed to amplify thought and channel cosmic power. These instruments could heal, illuminate, or transform, but they could also destroy. Legends speak of temples glowing with unnatural light, chambers humming with vibrations that unsettled the very air. Perhaps most forbidden were the experiments with immortality. The ancients sought not only to preserve the soul, but to extend the body's life beyond its natural span. Some initiates were said to live for centuries, sustained by rituals performed in the halls of Amenti. Yet the tablets warn of imbalance, of bodies stretched too far, of minds burdened by endless time, of wisdom twisted into arrogance. These experiments were hidden because they carried danger. Knowledge, when misused, could unravel the harmony of the cosmos. Thoth himself was said to guard these secrets, allowing only the worthy to glimpse them, and even then, only in fragments. The forbidden experiments became cautionary tales, reminders that wisdom must be tempered with humility. The forbidden experiments of the ancients are not loud, not glorious, but shadowed, eternal, and strangely soothing. They drift through legend like bedtime warnings, gentle reminders that curiosity without balance can lead to ruin, and that some truths are best approached slowly, carefully, with reverence for the rhythm of eternity. The Emerald Tablets whisper not only of wisdom gained, but of wisdom lost. They speak of a time when civilizations rose to heights of knowledge and power, only to collapse beneath the weight of their own ambition. This was the fall of the ancient world, a turning point when harmony gave way to pride, and balance was shattered by excess. Atlantis is often remembered as the first great fall. Its temples glowed with energy, its people mastered the stars, and its wisdom seemed limitless. Yet legends say they reached too far, experimenting with forces that bent the laws of nature. The earth trembled, the seas rose, and the shining towers of Atlantis sank beneath the waves. From its ruins, fragments of knowledge were carried into Egypt, preserved in the Emerald Tablets, as warnings as much as teachings. Egypt itself, though enduring for millennia, was not untouched by decline. Dynasties rose and fell, temples were abandoned, and the guardians of knowledge faded into memory. The halls of Amenti, once said to hum with eternal light, became hidden, sealed away from mortal eyes. The wisdom of Thoth remained, but it was scattered, buried beneath sand and stone, waiting for seekers to rediscover it. The fall was not only physical but spiritual. As greed replaced balance and power overshadowed humility, the connection between mortals and the cosmos weakened. The sacred geometry of temples was forgotten, the star wisdom neglected, and the path of initiation left untrodden. What had once been a living rhythm of eternity became fragments of myth, half-remembered stories told in hushed tones. Yet the Emerald Tablets insist that nothing is truly lost. Wisdom may fade from sight, but it lingers in silence, waiting patiently for those who seek it with humility. The fall of the ancient world was not an ending, but a reminder that knowledge without balance leads to ruin, and that the rhythm of eternity can only be heard by those who listen quietly. The fall of the ancient world is not loud, not glorious, but shadowed, eternal, and strangely soothing. It drifts through legend like a bedtime warning, a gentle reminder that civilizations rise and fall, but wisdom endures, glowing softly in the silence of forgotten history. The Emerald Tablets, glowing with whispers of eternity, were said to endure beyond kingdoms, beyond dynasties, beyond the rise and fall of civilizations. Yet legends insist that at some point they vanished, hidden from mortal eyes, sealed away in silence, leaving behind only fragments of memory and myth. This disappearance is one of the greatest mysteries of ancient lore. Some traditions claim that Thoth himself carried the tablets into the halls of Amenti, locking them within chambers that only initiates could enter. There, beneath the earth, they rested in eternal light, guarded by the timeless guardians of knowledge. To the unworthy, they were invisible. To the worthy, they revealed themselves only in dreams and visions. Others believe the tablets were scattered after the fall of Atlantis, fragments carried into Egypt, Greece, and beyond. Each piece preserved a portion of wisdom, but the whole was lost. The disappearance was not destruction, but dispersal, a scattering of truths across cultures, hidden in symbols, myths, and philosophies. There are also whispers that the tablets were deliberately concealed. Their teachings of immortality, cosmic power, and forbidden experiments were too dangerous to remain in open hands. To protect humanity from its own ambition, the tablets were hidden, waiting for a time when seekers could approach them with humility rather than greed. The disappearance of the tablets transformed them into legend. No longer objects of stone or crystal, they became ideas, eternal truths carried in stories, philosophies, and rituals. Their absence gave them power, for what is hidden often glows brighter in imagination than in sight. The disappearance of the tablets is not loud, not glorious, but shadowed, eternal, and strangely soothing. It drifts through history like a bedtime mystery, a gentle reminder that wisdom sometimes hides itself, waiting patiently for those who seek it with balance, silence, and reverence for the rhythm of eternity. Though the Emerald Tablets vanished into legend, whispers of their rediscovery have surfaced across centuries. Scholars, mystics, and seekers alike have claimed glimpses of their wisdom, each story adding to the mystery of how ancient truths might still linger in the modern world. Some accounts tell of explorers in Egypt who stumbled upon hidden chambers beneath pyramids, finding inscriptions that echoed the language of the tablets. Others speak of manuscripts preserved in secret libraries, fragments of hermetic texts that carried the same rhythm of eternity. Whether real or imagined, these discoveries fueled the belief that the tablets were never truly lost, only hidden, waiting for the right eyes. In the Renaissance, the Hermetica was celebrated as a rediscovered treasure, believed to carry the voice of Hermes Trismegistus, the Greek echo of Thoth. Philosophers saw in these writings the survival of ancient wisdom, a bridge between Egypt and Europe, between myth and science. The tablets themselves remained elusive, but their spirit seemed to reappear in every age that sought deeper truths. Modern seekers have turned to archaeology, esotericism, and even science, searching for traces of the tablets. Some imagine them buried beneath the sands, others encoded in symbols scattered across temples, and still others hidden in plain sight, disguised as myths or allegories. The mystery lies not only in their location, but in their nature. Were they physical objects, or eternal truths that reveal themselves only to those prepared to understand? The rediscovery of the tablets in modern times is less about finding stone or crystal, and more about awakening memory. Each generation rediscovers them in its own way, through philosophy, through science, through meditation. The tablets endure not as relics, but as living ideas, glowing softly in the imagination of those who seek them. The modern rediscovery mystery is not loud, not glorious, but shadowed, eternal, and strangely soothing. It drifts through history like a bedtime puzzle, a gentle reminder that wisdom hides itself, only to reappear when the world is ready to listen again. The Emerald Tablets, though wrapped in myth and mystery, continue to cast their shadow into the present. Their teachings of immortality, cosmic balance, and sacred geometry are not confined to the past. They echo quietly in the philosophies, sciences, and spiritual practices of today. The hidden truth is that the wisdom of the ancients has never truly disappeared. It has simply changed its form. Modern seekers find fragments of the tablets in unexpected places. In physics, the search for unified laws of nature mirrors the ancient quest for cosmic harmony. In psychology, the exploration of consciousness reflects the tablet's teachings about the soul's eternal flame. Even in architecture and art, sacred geometry reappears, shaping spaces that resonate with balance and proportion. The hidden truth today is that the tablets may not exist as stone relics, but as living ideas. Their wisdom has seeped into culture, disguised as philosophy, encoded in symbols, whispered in myths. Each generation rediscovers them in its own way, whether through science, spirituality, or the quiet rhythm of meditation. Yet the tablets also remind us of caution. The forbidden experiments of the ancients warn against pride, against the misuse of knowledge. In a world of technology and power, the hidden truth is that wisdom must still be tempered with humility. The lessons of Atlantis linger. Civilizations rise, but imbalance can bring them down. The Emerald Tablets endure as a mystery, not loud, not glorious, but shadowed, eternal, and strangely soothing. The hidden truth today is that eternity is not locked in stone, but alive in silence, waiting patiently for those who seek it with balance, reverence, and care for the rhythm of the cosmos. The Emerald Tablets close with whispers of the deepest mysteries, the final secrets of Thoth. But for the few truths hidden behind layers of silence, revealed only to those who had walked the long path of initiation. Thoth's final secrets spoke of the soul's eternal journey. He taught that the flame within each being was not bound to earth, nor even to the stars, but to realms beyond time itself. The soul was a traveler, moving through dimensions unseen, carrying wisdom from one existence to the next. To understand this was to glimpse eternity, not as a distant promise, but as a living rhythm within. He revealed that balance was the key to all things. Light and darkness, life and death, body and spirit, each was part of a greater harmony. To master the final secrets was not to conquer these forces, but to walk between them, steady and calm, like a scribe writing upon the scroll of eternity. The tablets also spoke of silence. In silence, Thoth said, the seeker would hear the voice of the cosmos. In silence, the soul would remember its origin. The final secret was not a word nor a spell, but a quiet truth that wisdom is eternal and eternity is within. And so the story of the Emerald Tablets drifts to its end. From Atlantis to Egypt, from hidden temples to modern rediscovery, the rhythm of Thoth's wisdom has carried seekers through centuries. It is not loud, not glorious, but shadowed, eternal, and strangely soothing, a lullaby of forgotten history. Now, as the tale closes, let the secrets rest. Let the soul be calm, the mind be quiet, and the rhythm of eternity hum softly in the background. The story has been told, the wisdom has been shared, and the night is ready to embrace its silence. Good night.